releasing whatever is not serving us anymore, opening ourselves to healing, transformation, all that is waiting for us within this eclipse on this supermoon. September 17th, 2024, we need to get ready for something because it is eclipse season. We're having an eclipse in Pisces. It's a lunar eclipse, and this is going to be kind of rare because it's a supermoon, so the Earth and the moon are in very close proximity. The moon will be very big. Now, this is only a partial eclipse, so it's just kind of weaning us into a new energy. The nodes are in Aries and Libra right now, so it's interesting because this is an out of sign. That's why it's only a partial eclipse. So there's some technicality to that. But the next set of eclipses where the nodes will move into are Virgo and Pisces. Eclipses generally bring breakthroughs, endings, and a huge dose of emotional clarity. We're talking about Pisces, and that's very universal. It's a very universal sign. And so opening up that idea of where it is in your chart as well, it's going to bring some illumination and some new energy into our lives. Eclipse, you started feeling eclipses about 2 weeks before and around 2 weeks after, that you really have a flow of energy. And if any new ideas come through for closure, that's really important to be aware of. What kind of things need to come to an end so something new can open up in your life? In addition to that closure energy, we have Pisces, which is the 12th sign in the zodiac. And that's kind of like a finale, but I also see it as a beginning. It's an ending and a beginning. Everything has the duality built into it in astrology. So any lunar eclipse is kind of like a season finale. So even though this one's an opening a new sign, it is still sort of a beginning of a closure in that area. So it could be a habit, it could be a relationship, it could be your work. It depends on where it lands in your chart, which whole sign house. But it's not always super dramatic, like a movie or whatever. Sometimes it's more like you're just finishing the last page of a really good book and you know it's time to move on to a different book. And you might not know what's going to come next or if there is going to be another good book. Like, will there be a book as good as this one ever again? Yeah, there is. There's always something new around the corner, and that's what's so beautiful about life. We always have a multitude, a universe of things to explore and learn. Closure can be scary, not knowing what's going to come next can be scary, endings can be scary, but eclipses give us this way of, like a little nudge that pushes us, like the doors need to be closed, and if they're left open too long, then it's just not going to be good for us anymore. We have these deep emotional waters of Pisces that are starting to be brought to the surface, and we're starting to wade in the waters of Pisces. You might feel more sensitive or more introspective. It's totally normal because Pisces energy is like swimming in the ocean, but we're just getting in. And sometimes it's really cold at first. It's a little bit cold to get in the ocean. Then you got to get used to it and move forward. So if you think back to November of 2015, that's the last time until 2017 May. And that's when the last eclipse cycle happened. So if you look at the themes of your life back then, and how it's evolving, they're not going to be exactly the same, but thematically it should be similar. It's like watching the sequel to a movie or a book that you love and seeing the characters again, that they're familiar, but the story is fresh because it's a new storyline. It's a new arc. The Virgo Pisces axis is about balancing like our physical, our body. Virgo is about your health, helpfulness, and dedication to making things better, and our spiritual world, which is the same thing that Pisces does as Virgo. It's like clarity. What's the clarity here? What do I need to distill to create this beautiful spiritual cleanliness? Getting organized, nurturing your creativity and your spiritual growth. This is a cycle where you have an invitation to put that into your life, those ideas, make space for your inspiration and the new visions to flow. Now, this is a partial eclipse, but it is happening during a super moon. So that means the moon is closer to the earth. The energy might feel stronger. It's kind of like turning up the volume a little bit. Supermoons in general tend to draw out more emotions. It makes it a little bit of an exclamation point, even something that you could have been holding back. And rather than feeling overwhelmed, maybe look at this as an opportunity to release whatever's been weighing you down. It's an excellent time to connect with intuition If you've been second guessing yourself on how you're feeling, or if you're feeling a little bit lost, the eclipse is a chance to come back to center, to listen to that quiet voice that's within you. Neptune is sitting very close to this new moon. They're within a few degrees, and it can blur the lines between fantasy and reality, or just make it a little bit more emotional too. And that energy can often be foggy, but it's also perfect for turning into your inner guidance. Creativity, imagination, it's going to be at an all-time high. So don't be surprised if you're feeling a sudden wave of inspiration. And if you are wanting something like that, then make the space for it. It's a really good time. Uranus is also in on this, bringing some unexpected change, a little bit of unpredictability, but change is positive. In the end, it can be very liberating. So if you've been feeling stuck, this eclipse could help bring the key to unlocking new doors. A little bit of unpredictability, a little bit of spice from Uranus is always interesting. And let's not forget Pluto. Pluto brings a real depth, a whole flavor palette of transformation can be built in here. It forces us to face shadows, and it's not always easy, but the reward is there. I've been going through some stuff in the last few days, looking at my year ahead and not feeling super comfortable about it, to be honest. What does it even mean? And how can we bring it into a way that even something that might be scary or feel like, oh gosh, I don't want that to end, or I'm not comfortable in this way or that way about this divination that's coming through, that there's so many more layers to go through, that the negative and on the surface can actually end up being something very, very positive when you change your perspective a little bit on it. So what can you do with all this delicious Piscean energy? Well, take a moment to reflect. It's a good time to reflect. Going inward, connecting with your higher self. It's a wonderful time to meditate or journal, or simply just sit in the stillness and listen to what your soul is telling you. If you've been holding on to some emotional baggage or stuff really you need to let go, this is good. This is good timing for that. If you need to write a letter to somebody, or, that's something I've done before where I've got these feelings and they're all pent up and I want to say something to someone. And so I write it all down, and then I don't give it to the person. I don't do anything with it. I just let it sit for a while. And then I go back and look at it again and decide if it's something I really want to do. But at least I've been alleviated from the pressure that's building inside of me, something I want to say. But then there's some discernment there of not doing something that's going to blow up a relationship or push things in a direction that I actually don't really want to go. And so at times I've written pages and pages of letters and then just put them through the shredder a few days later. So it helped me, though, release that safely on a piece of paper. And then I symbolically cleansed myself by just shredding it. And then it was gone. Most of all, we're just trying to align with our most authentic selves. And I say that quite often because it's a challenge that I have. And that's why I do these videos, honestly, because it forces me to come to some sort of authentic expression. But being deliberate about anything that has to do with expressing yourself intentionally and authentically, it takes you to another level. Eventually you start to become unbound, untied, and that's my goal. I'm trying to get to. I want to trust this process of change and letting endings come, so that something new will bloom and be equally beautiful, like two flowers, right? You have a sunflower and you have a rose. Are they both beautiful? Yeah. Are they both different? Yes. I like you just the way you are. Thank you for being here with me, and I wish you a beautiful eclipse season.